Are you seeing the same trend emerging that used to be in the dot-com boom? That's called AI washing. Hello everybody, and welcome to my channel Synonomics, the money machine. Today I'm going to cover AI washing, artificial intelligent washing. Let me first explain what this term is all about. So just like if some of you remember who were in the market in 2000, you remember the dot-com boom. Every company was coming out and changing their names to pet.com, pets.com, travel.com, garden.com, x.com, whatever. You put .com there and the stock price used to go up. And people were not talking about the revenue, they were just talking about the orders. Hey, I got the order, so much million of dollar of order, $1 billion of order, and the stock price used to jump. And finally, we found that those orders were cancelled. And that's where Securities Exchange Commission actually brought in SAB 101, Sarbanes-Oxley auditing. So anyway, let's not get there. Similar is the trend nowadays. The companies are coming out and telling, hey, I'm going to use AI. I'm going to use generative AI. And the fun part of that is, hey, forget about these IT companies. Many of the restaurants, many of those shops, they're coming out and saying, hey, I'm going to use AI for my customer base. For some, they can do that, yeah, but it may be a hype, it may be called AI washing. And that's what is called AI washing, where every company is coming out and kind of relating themselves with the artificial intelligence, generative AI, and they're trying to push their market price up. Well, how to identify those AI washing, or the companies who are using these techniques, or tactics rather? First, look at their competitive advantage, guys. What's the competitive advantage of this particular company? What's their moat? What's the moat against the other industry, against other competition? Do they have any proprietary data? Because data is really important. That's the secret sauce of the generative AI. Data. Guys, we all know that data is the new oil, or you can say data is the new gold nowadays. So a lot of companies who were actually using their own data, and they were releasing that in the Google with a view that, hey, customers will go and do the web search at the Google and finally they will reach them after finding out their data. Now these companies are realizing that they are sitting on a huge proprietary data and they are not releasing it. They think they can leverage that to generate the large language models to have the right generative AI application and the model. So that's the first thing to look at that. So whenever you are hearing something like, a barber shop is coming out with a generative AI story, or a restaurant is coming out with that, or a grocery shop is coming out with that I know the behavior of my customer, I'm going to use generative AI, be skeptical about it. My personal view is that stay with the technology. Use your judgment to see the competitive advantage of these companies who are coming out and saying, I am embracing generative AI to boost their share price. Well, with that, I would also like to highlight that what's the impact? What is the impact of all these in the job market? Of course, the job market is impacted. So a lot of the jobs which were, for example, the coders, a lot of the coders used to do a lot of coding. I think generative AI can do the coding for you. If you want to write a story, generative AI will write a story for you. If you want a poem, they'll write it for you. So you don't need all these guys who are involved in that. Even the writers, guys, screenplay writers. I'll come to that a little bit later. But let's look at that. A lot of those jobs will be replaced with generative AI. But there may be many jobs or there will be many jobs where you will need the human loop. For an example, you would not like to fly in an airplane where there is no human, no pilot. Even though the planes actually fly on the autopilot mode, we need a few pilots there, right? You will not like to send your kid or your kids to the school where there is no human. Yeah? All these generative AI will be teaching them. All these robots will be teaching them. No way. So even though generative AI is going to replace a lot of these jobs, you will still have multiple jobs where we'll need the human loop. And when we are talking about the job, let me tell you a very interesting story. It's interesting for some of us, but it's kind of painful for those guys who are impacted. DGA, Directors Guild of America, they actually had struck a deal with the studios that the studios were not going to use the AI or generative AI to replace the voice or even the face of the screenplay actors or the writers. Now that a contract expired on 30th of June and they have drafted a new one right now where they are telling the same thing. AI is not human. So please don't leverage AI or generative AI to replace the screenplay writers, to replace the voice of the screenplay actors, and also to, in many cases, replace the face of the actors. And these screenplay actors and the screenplay writers have joined the party. So they are demanding that anytime you use the generative AI to do some of these works, the screenplay actors especially should be compensated and their consent should be required. Well, you can talk about that, but at the end of the day, if the story can be written by generative AI, who is going to contact a screenplay writer? Why will I pay screenplay writer, to if I'm getting all the story somewhere else? So definitely it will impact a lot of these things, especially in the writing, in the directing, and also in the post-production activities. You can't stop that. It's given. Now, there's still two parts or two groups, two lobbies out there. The jury is out. There are two parts of the group, two sides of the fence. One side still feels that this is a hype trend. Artificial intelligence, generative AI is a hype trend. And there's another one, like us, who understand the technology. Even though it may be a little bit hyped, the stock prices may be overvalued, but this technology is going to change the way we work. This technology is going to stay. Right now, there are two big emerging trends, guys. One is the accelerated computing, and another one is generative AI. We cannot be in a state of denial. We need to get up and work on it. Brush up our skills. Well, I like to highlight recently there was Snowflake. Snowflake had a deal with Nvidia. And for some of you who don't know Snowflake, Snowflake actually works in this space, in the software space. They also have the data cloud. And for some of you, if you don't know, Warren Buffett has a big stake in Snowflake. Yes, Warren Buffett did not buy Google and others, but when Snowflake was actually launched in the IPO, he got a huge allocation of $2 billion. And I'm sure he must have increased his stake there. Having said that, Snowflake is down almost 20 to 30% the last 1 year. It's not done very well. Well, coming back to the point, Snowflake actually had a deal with Nvidia. And what's the deal? The deal is pretty much around the generative AI. Number one, businesses of all sizes will get the accelerated path to use the generative AI applications for their business. Number two, the users will be able to use generative AI in their Snowflake account and leverage the large language models, LLMs, to create generative AI applications. And third most important one is that the customers will be able to use their proprietary data. Yes, you heard that right. Proprietary data in the Snowflake data cloud. So, in a nutshell, in some simple terms, if I tell you, they have created generative AI as a service. Gen AI as a service. And we are going to see a big trend coming out on that. Not only that, Snowflake is in talks with Microsoft to actually enhance their generative AI capabilities in their data clouds. Well, I've covered quite a bit of that today. Let me know, which side of the fence are you? Do you think AI and generative AI is a hype trend? Or do you think this is for real, is gonna change the way we work and we do things, and this is going to stay? Please put that in the comment section and I'll really appreciate that. Once again, these are not recommendations. I talked about Nvidia, I talked about Snowflake, Microsoft. These are not recommendations. Please consult your financial advisor for any investment decisions. Synonomics' aim is to create financial awareness so that you can act on it, analyze your companies, and make money. If you like this kind of contents, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'll come back with another interesting story for you. Till then, it's goodbye from your friend Pankaj Sinha. Bye-bye.